What if the people running our world aren't even human? No, seriously. What if the faces on your TV, the ones shaking hands at international summits and smiling on red carpets, what if some of them are actually shape-shifting reptilians? I know. It sounds batshit insane until you start digging. Ancient civilizations worshipped serpent gods. Real footage shows pupils shifting, throats bulging, skin deteriorating on camera. Whistleblowers have seen people transform. And then there's the celebrity who saw it happen right in front of them. This conspiracy goes deep, through religion, royalty, secret societies, even the Bible. And if even one part of it's true, fuck. By the end of this video, you might start looking at the world and the people around you in a completely different way. So, what exactly is the lizard people theory? At its core, it's the idea that there are advanced, shape-shifting reptilian beings, possibly extraterrestrial, possibly interdimensional, living among us. Some say they walk around in human form. Others believe they've infiltrated the highest levels of power. Presidents, royalty, CEOs, media moguls, even your goddamn neighbor. A survey was done, and 12 million people in the United States believe lizard people are running the government. The guy who really brought this theory into the spotlight is David Icke. Back in the 90s, this former sports broadcaster turned full-blown truth seeker started connecting dots. Ancient mythology, secret societies, and bizarre behavior from world leaders. And what he came up with was unfucking believable. A global network of humanoid reptilian beings controlling humanity from behind the scenes. Now, you might think that's too fucked up for anyone to believe. But millions of people around the world aren't laughing. And I'm not just talking about fringe conspiracy groups hiding out in the cabin in the woods with their ham radio. We're talking regular-ass people. Folks who've seen weird shit with their own eyes or stumbled across videos that make you question everything. Because once you start pulling that thread, things get real weird, real fast. Eyewitness reports that'll make your skin crawl. Videos that show people glitching out on camera. And stories, lots of them, that point toward one creepy possibility. We're not the apex predator of this planet. But where did all this begin? And is there any chance it could actually be true? The idea that reptilian beings walk among us isn't just some wild theory cooked up on the internet in the last few decades. The roots of this belief go way deeper into ancient myths, mystical texts, old sci-fi stories, and accounts from people who said they've seen shit they can't explain. Let's rewind the tape. The guy who really supercharged the reptilian theory is David Icke. Back in the 1990s, Icke was a former BBC sports broadcaster who took a hard left turn into conspiracy research. His claim? That the world is secretly ruled by shape-shifting reptilians, beings that can appear human but are anything but. He says they're part of the Babylonian Brotherhood, a bloodline of alien-human hybrids who've been manipulating humanity for centuries from positions of power. Presidents, prime ministers, kings, queens, Hollywood elites, all of them either reptilian or part reptilian. In 2001, Icke published the book Children of the Matrix, where he laid it all out. Ancient myths, alien races, shadow governments, and a massive interdimensional conspiracy. And he didn't just magically pull it out of his ass. Icke heavily referenced older writings like Maurice Doreal's Emerald Tablets and Theosophical Texts as his foundation. But Icke didn't start the fire. This stuff goes way back. Robert Monroe in the 1970s and 80s became known for his deep research into out-of-body experiences. While in altered states of consciousness, he encountered non-human entities several times. Cold, intelligent, and reptilian in nature. He didn't directly say lizard people, but truth seekers today often cite Monroe's writings as proof that these beings exist in other dimensions and can influence our reality. Then there's the fiction that didn't feel like fiction for long. In 1929, author Robert E. Howard published The Shadow Kingdom in the magazine Weird Tales. It was the first known story to feature serpent men, ancient beings that live underground and can disguise themselves as humans to infiltrate and control the surface world. Sound familiar? This story is often seen as a direct precursor to Icke's theory, even if it was meant as pulp fiction. Religious and mystical texts have plenty of reptilian symbolism too. Start with the Bible. The serpent in the Garden of Eden is often interpreted as symbolic, sure, but some theorists suggest that serpent was a literal reptilian being offering forbidden knowledge. The apple was more of a metaphor. Then there are the Nephilim, mysterious, giant hybrid beings born from the union of divine beings and humans. Some people say these were early experiments, possibly reptilian or otherworldly. In 1888, Madame Helena Blavatsky, founder of Theosophy, published The Secret Doctrine. She talked about dragon men and strange serpentine beings connected to lost civilizations and ancient wisdom. Her ideas of root races, stages of human and pre-human evolution, included references to semi-divine, possibly non-human entities. A lot of modern occult and heavy thinkers built on her work, and Icke definitely dipped into that well. Enter Maurice Doreal in the 1940s. He was an occultist who wrote Mysteries of the Gobi and a mystical poem called The Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean. In those writings, Doreal stated that serpent-headed beings live in vast underground cities and can shift into human form at will. He said they manipulate the world from the shadows and are ancient enemies of mankind. If that sounds like Icke's blueprint, that's because it basically is. Doreal's version of the Emerald Tablets isn't the same as the ancient Hermetic one, but it's been adopted and reinterpreted over and over by researchers. Now, about that ancient Hermetic Emerald Tablet, supposedly written by Thoth or Hermes Trismegistus. It's all mystical symbolism. As above, so below. Transformation. Hidden knowledge. While it doesn't say anything about lizard people, modern thinkers, especially Icke, reframe its metaphors as clues about ancient alien knowledge passed down through secret societies and bloodlines. Want to go deeper? Fuck yeah! Some researchers point to Gnostic texts that describe archons, non-human entities that manipulate the material world and feed on human suffering. That sounds very familiar. Others link the reptilian theory to Mesopotamian mythology. especially the Anunnaki, sky gods who came from the stars and created humans. Some even believe the Anunnaki were reptilian and that we were genetically modified by them to serve as a kind of slave race. I'll save the Anunnaki story for a future video. So yeah, this isn't some goddamn 4chan meme that exploded into pop culture. The idea that reptilian beings are hiding among us has been percolating through myths, fiction, spiritual writings, and personal experiences for well over a century. And now, it's time to ask, are there actual sightings? Is there any proof? Oh, fuck yeah, there is. A lot. Let's get into the sightings, the real meat of this theory. First off, if you've spent even 5 minutes searching reptilian conspiracy on TikTok or YouTube, you've probably seen some weird-ass clips. I know I have, especially researching for this video. I'm talking eyes changing shape, pupils going vertical, blinking sideways like a goddamn snake, throats bulging and rippling like a bullfrog during a mating call, faces glitching out, and not in a fucking cutesy TikTok filter way. These clips get dismissed by skeptics, but when you stack them up side by side, dozens, even hundreds of them, the vibe shifts dramatically. It stops feeling like coincidence and starts looking like evidence. So, while we roll through a montage of some of the wildest reptilian reveal videos out there, let me walk you through a few stories that are a little harder to explain away. First, I want to start with the chick that freaked out on that plane not too long ago. Y'all remember her, right? When I saw this, my first thought was, she must have seen a reptilian. Turns out it was a shapeshifter, so it could be a reptilian. Mysteriously, now when she's asked what she saw, she says she's been told not to talk about it. Huh, I wonder who told her not to talk about it, and why? That's fucking sus. Many believers say that lizard people can't lie when asked if they're a lizard person. Case in point, while on the Opie and Anthony show, Louis C.K. asked Donald Rumsfeld, the then Secretary of Defense, if he was a lizard. Louis C.K. prefaced it by whispering to the hosts, if he is a lizard, he's going to either dodge the question or not say anything at all. Rumsfeld answered it by talking about going out to eat dinner with his wife, shaking hands with folks, and how someone had paid for his dinner. So he didn't respond to the question. A couple of more times later on in the interview, Louis C.K. tried to sneak the question in, and Rumsfeld never answered it. Some said he wasn't dignifying it with a response, but all he had to do was say no, and that would have been the end of it. But he didn't. Mark Zuckerberg was asked point blank if he was a lizard person. After a nervous smile and chuckle, he looks away from the camera and, seemingly talking to someone else beside him, said no. He was not a lizard person. His body language and mannerisms were analyzed by an expert. They concluded Zucker Lizard was lying. There's also a weird video of Zuckerberg taking a drink of water out of a glass during a government hearing, and it looks like he's not sure how to do it, like he's never taken a drink of water out of a glass. Yeah, he's definitely a lizard, 100%. This is one of the boldest public admissions of all time, and it came from a rock star. In a 2017 interview with Howard Stern, Billy Corgan, frontman of the Smashing Pumpkins, dropped this atomic bomb. Let's just say I was with somebody once, and I saw a transformation I can't explain. Howard tried to dig deeper, pushing a little bit more, but Billy shut it down, saying he was completely sober and wasn't fucking with him. He wouldn't name the person, wouldn't describe exactly what he saw, but he doubled down. It happened and it shook him. To this day, he's never walked that story back either. One of the few celebrities to go on record saying, "Yeah, I saw someone shapeshift into something not human." Then there's the story from a former employee at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. The dude posted anonymously on Reddit. And of course, the post disappeared not long after it started picking up steam. He said that late one night, working in a restricted hallway near baggage claim, he saw a tall humanoid figure with scaly skin and glowing yellow eyes. It walked weird, stiff and upright, and without touching anything, it disappeared through a secure mechanical door. No badge, no key swipe, fucking nothing. The kicker? He tried to report it but got shut down instantly. The thread went missing, and users speculated that someone didn't want that story out there. Yeah, no shit. A cover-up. Here's one that pops up in the deepest corners of the internet. A former British Royal Guard, completely anonymous, gave an interview on a fringe conspiracy podcast claiming he once peeked through the cracked door of a private chamber in the palace. What he saw wasn't human. He described it as tall, pale green skin, no facial expressions, just standing there, motionless. Then, like it had sensed it had been seen, the thing shimmered like Predator and suddenly looked like a normal person. A second later, he was pulled aside by other guards and forced to sign an NDA, threatening jail time if he ever spoke of it to anyone. Now, this one you've probably seen. A major news anchor during a live broadcast had their eyes flash reptilian for half a second. Not maybe it's the lighting weird, like full-on vertical pupils caught on air. People clipped it, slowed it down, zoomed in. The clip blew up, went viral, and then disappeared. Flagged, removed, re-uploaded, taken down again. It became this digital cat and mouse game. And every time it gets re-uploaded, someone else says, "Oh yeah, I saw that live." The platform can call it compression. The news station can say it's faulty encoding. But people watching at home, they know what they saw. One pattern that comes up over and over again in these shapeshifter sightings, it's always in crowds, red carpet events, political rallies, concerts. You'll see someone standing still, smiling, and in that one flash of a paparazzi camera, their eyes go sideways or their pupils turn vertical. People catch it during frame-by-frame playback. Sometimes it's just one frame, a blip in the matrix. Other times, it lingers a bit longer. Believers say the bright camera flashes fuck with the illusion, momentarily revealing what's underneath. And weirdly, it's never just one or two examples. There's a whole genre of these clips. Some have millions of views. Are they all fake? Are they all just digital hiccups? Maybe. Or maybe they're the digital age's biggest unintentional whistleblowers. These sightings, from grainy live streams to whispered encounters in palaces and airports, form the strange, slippery body of evidence that keeps this theory alive. They're hard to verify, sure, but they're even harder to totally explain away. When people from all walks of life, celebrities, airport workers, soldiers, everyday folks, start telling stories that echo each other across decades, you gotta at least wonder, what if they're not all full of shit? What if some of them, or most of them, are telling the truth? So, what the hell is going on here? Are people really shape-shifting into reptilian beings live on camera? Or is there a more grounded explanation? Let's break it down. The most common skeptical take is the good old compression glitch. When video gets compressed, especially in live streams or low-res footage, weird stuff happens. Faces warp, eyes blur out, mouths smear across the screen. And it's not because someone's secretly a snake alien, it's just math. Video compression chops up the image into blocks and tries to guess what's supposed to be there. If someone turns their head or moves fast, the computer might screw it up. Boom! You've got what looks like reptile eyes for 2 frames. It's especially bad with cheap webcams, dim lighting, or old YouTube uploads. However, these glitches are happening while someone is sitting completely still in a well-lit TV studio being filmed with not a cheap webcam, but with a huge $50,000 to $60,000 camera. There's no reason for them to glitch out like that. Next up, our dumb human brains. We're pattern recognition machines. You ever see a face in a tree or a ghost in your shower curtain? That's pareidolia. Your brain making connections that aren't actually there. Now throw in confirmation bias. If you already believe lizard people are real, you're gonna spot proof everywhere. Every flash of a vertical pupil or pulsing throat becomes validation. Skeptics say that's exactly what's going on here. The lizard people theory is a lens, and once you're looking through it, everything looks scaly. Something tells me that crazy lady on the plane did not have confirmation bias before boarding that plane. She doesn't strike me as the kind of person who believes that people can shapeshift. That's why she had such a hard time with it. Some explanations are even more basic. That creepy throat bulge you saw could be thyroid swelling, vocal strain, or someone just breathing weird under pressure. And those wild eye movements, vertical slits, blinking sideways, could be light reflections on glossy contacts, weird angles, or a natural eye glint that looks alien when you zoom in and slow it down. There's even a condition called coloboma that can make a person's pupil appear irregular or cat-like. It doesn't mean they're from Draco Prime. It just means their DNA rolled some funky dice. But these people's eyes are changing from normal to reptilian. And I'm sorry, but that ain't just some weird fucking eye glint. That ain't normal. And then there's the deeper psychological stuff. You take an already weird theory, add decades of internet folklore, toss in a few eerie YouTube videos, and the whole thing snowballs. People start feeding off of each other's stories in echo chambers, Reddit, 4chan, fringe forums, and suddenly we've got a full-blown modern mythos. Combine that with the uncanny valley where someone just looks almost human but not quite, and it starts to feel like everyone around you is one blink away from dropping the act. That's the skeptical breakdown. Now, let's flip the coin. Let's jump straight into the deep end. Folks say these aren't just glitches, they're actual shapeshifters. Reptilian aliens from the Draco star system came to Earth eons ago. They infiltrated human society, bred with us, and now their descendants walk among us. especially in positions of power. They can mimic human appearance, but it's not perfect. Under stress, camera flashes, or high-frequency tech, the illusion slips a little. That's when we catch the flashes of scales, the snake eyes, the bulging throat. Some people say these hybrids aren't just random shapeshifters, they're part of a global cabal. Royal families, tech billionaires, top politicians, all tied to ancient bloodlines mixed with reptilian DNA. These folks aren't just keeping secrets, they're performing rituals, manipulating energy, even harvesting souls to maintain their control. Oh hell yeah, it's a wild-ass theory, but to the hardcore believers, it explains why the world's so fucking messed up, because it's being run by something inhuman. Then there's the interdimensional approach. Under this hypothesis, what we're seeing isn't physical shape-shifting, it's a glitch between realities. Assuming the reptilians operate partially in the astral plane or another dimension entirely, and every now and then we catch a glimpse of that. It's like a curtain lifts for just a split second. A shimmer, a distortion, and you see what's really there. Conversely, some even think that our perception is being manipulated, and when that deception slips, reality bleeds through. Total Twilight Zone vibe. And finally, this one's big picture. Some folks believe reptilians have been with us since the dawn of civilization. Ancient gods, serpent imagery, reptile deities? Yeah, those weren't myths, those were memories. Now that we've got cameras fucking everywhere, phones, satellites, live streams, we're accidentally catching things we were never meant to see. The curtain hasn't just lifted, it's fallen apart. So, what do you think? Is it all smoke and mirrors, compression glitches, and lizard brain psychology? Or is it something else? Something that's been watching us through borrowed faces for centuries? Either way, keep your eyes peeled, so to speak. Whether you think it's all bullshit or you're convinced your neighbor's a cold-blooded shapeshifter in a Patagonia vest, one thing's clear. This theory ain't fucking going anywhere. It's got roots that stretch back through ancient myths, secret societies, and whispered warnings scrawled in the margins of forgotten books. It's lived on through underground radio, late-night forums, and glitchy YouTube videos that somehow feel just a little too real. We've seen throat bulges that shouldn't be there, eyes doing shit eyes shouldn't do, and celebrities acting off in ways you can't quite explain. Skeptics chalk it all up to digital distortion, groupthink, and the internet doing what it does best, spreading weird shit fast. Believers see something darker, signs of a long-running deception, maybe even a war being fought in plain sight. Maybe it's all a metaphor, a way of talking about power, control, and the people who run the world feeling less than human. Or maybe it's mass delusion, a collective bad trip with no grounding in reality. But then again, maybe it's not. Maybe those strange moments, those shivers down your spine, those eyes that hold just a second too long, those smiles that don't quite reach the skin, maybe those are cracks, slips in the mask, if you will. So, before you fall asleep tonight, ask yourself one last question. If you met something pretending to be human, what would you do? If you enjoyed this video, tap that like button and subscribe. That way, you won't miss out on more of my fucked up commentary. And besides, I really do appreciate it. Have reptilians taken over, or is it all just a bunch of horse shit? Let me know in the comments. And if you really want to do me a solid, click on that join button below the title and become part of my YouTube membership. For as little as $2.99, y'all can help me out more than you know. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! Catch you on the flip. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are the real beast.